Happy helicopter day, folks. That's the 5th one we've paused for to try and do this intro, so we're just gonna roll with it. Hi, Yasmin.
Hi.
Today we're going to demonstrate for you why, in my opinion, you want to stop shooting wide open at least most of the time. Now, I get it. You paid all that money to get a fast aperture prime or zoom. You want to get the maximum amount of light for your exposure and the softest background. And as a portrait photographer, I really do get that. But you are sacrificing a lot of other aspects that are determined by your lens, such as sharpness, contrast, vignetting, and flare. So just by stopping down a little, you can improve the overall image quality. And there's another reason on portraits you might want to do that. So I'm going to demonstrate it for you today with 4 different lenses, and you tell me what you think of the results.
Yeah.
There's a mosquito on your hand.
I broke my jaw and he got away. Outsmarted by a mosquito.
That's
See?
so embarrassing. I'm so quirky.
You're meant to answer there, but that's okay. I'll just...
How the heck am I supposed to know, bro?
I thought you know everything. Okay, enough shit talked. And it's tight enough, the frame's nice. Look at that puppy. Hello, puppy.
Focus, Matt. Focus.
Ah, that's very good. Because focus is one of the issues that we're talking about here. It's difficult with puppies. It's also difficult with fast aperture manual focus lenses. And that's kind of the point. When you're shooting a portrait, it's really common that you go for the eyes, you get them perfectly sharp, but at f1.4 or below, like I'm going to show you today, that often means forget about the nose, even the cheeks aren't in focus, the tip of the eyelashes may be out, the ears will be out. Now, if you want that look, cool, shoot it wide open. But if you want to get that in and get the most sharpness out of your lens, let's stop it down a little. Now, let's start by, could you hold that so I can just get a white balance reading? You hold that so well. Hello, puppy. What was this about focus? Yeah. Now, I'm going to start this off with one of my favorite combos. This is the D700 and a 50mm 1.2. Sadly, I don't own these anymore. These are loaners. And let me show you how this looks at f1.2. So glad that this has focus confirm, otherwise I would struggle. Now, let me just show you, I'm going to stop it down to f2. So still fairly wide open, but you're going to notice a significant difference here. And then f2.8, and then f4. So what do you think of these, folks? There are obvious differences. Look beyond just the eye, look at the skin detail, look at the texture in their hair. You're really getting a lot more from your files when you stop down. Now, obviously, these are just simple snapshots if you want to look. Okay, so to be fair, the 51-2 is a pretty old lens, but this is Nikon's current flagship 50mm. It is a 51.4G. So let's do the same thing again here at 1.4. Go in nice and close. It has a reasonably good closest focus right on the eye. Comparing it to f2 and f2.8. So we still have a few lenses to test out, but let me know, what do you think of those first 2 Nikkor lenses? At what point was the trade-off between a dreamy background and a sharp subject where you would want it to be? Now, it's an even more difficult and interesting choice if you have a super fast aperture lens, like 1.2 isn't fast enough. Things like a Leica Noctilux or this guy, which is an MS Optics 50mm f1 manual focus lens. To be honest, when it's wide open, your area of focus is still kind of not sharp at all and the background just disappears. And when you stop it down a bit, then it becomes reasonably sharp and the background's still pretty soft. So it's a different kind of sliding scale rather than, you know, a modern autofocus lens you might find in focus is pin sharp, but just a tiny little amount of it. Okay, enough shit talked. Now let's look at some longer lenses. This is the 85 1.8G. You'll remember I dropped and broke my 1.4G back in the day.
all these posters.
Oh, and I dropped the lens. Oh, and I dropped the lens. Oh, and I dropped the lens. It's been a great day for that. Fortunately, still have this one on loan. So let's do a couple here. This is a modern lens, and for the price, this is incredible value as a lens, but you're still gonna find that the sharpness, contrast, vignetting, all of those issues improve as we stop it down a little. So if you could lean back on the wall, we'll have this as a leading line towards you, or a leading lots of lines. Oh, this is pretty. Now this is actually what I was getting at. So often people shoot portraits just wide open, which if it's a full body shot or you're further away, you may have a depth of field that's several inches. If you're not clear on that, check out my video on depth of field. You don't need to shoot all your landscape stop down to f/22 and your portraits shot wide open. If you want to get even just a tight headshot and have the whole plane of the face in focus, you're going to want to stop down a surprisingly large amount. So let's do that with this 85mm lens. You agree? He agrees. And then open your shoulders slightly this way. Perfect. Lights in this direction. Okay. So I am going to put this at f1.8 to begin with. So let's take a look at those tight headshots, f1.8, f2, 2.8, f4, and f8. So if you were trying to get her eyes beautifully sharp and you're still going to have a fall off in the background, which of those apertures would you be shooting at? For this setup, let's use one of my favorite vintage Nikkor lenses, a bargain, the 105 f2.5p lens. I love this guy. You can pick it up under $100 and you can see just how much smaller it is than the 1.4e. Of course, it is manual focus. So we just shot away, got some simple shots here. And as we go through the apertures, 2.5 to 4, 5.6, and finally f8, you'll see, the background is coming in, but let's just go through them again. The background is staying reasonably soft because we're so close to her and we get so much more detail and contrast from her face. Okay, so it's probably no surprise with the really fast aperture lens or the older lenses that they improve when they stop down, but I think that pretty clearly demonstrated that even the modern lenses do benefit in terms of sharpness, contrast, vignetting, and flare when you stop them down a little bit. So the choice is really yours. Do you want to have the maximum blur in the shot, or do you want to make sure that you get the most sharpness out of it? For me, for portraits, I'm generally looking for as sharp as I can in the in-focus areas, and then to get the fall off that I can in the background. So do check out the What Aperture Should You Use video. I'll have a card for that above.